welcome. I'm Roxanne Glauser, Content Director and Doodler here at Whirly-Derb, and I want to welcome you. This is one of our Art Smart drawing lessons, a little miniature lesson, and I wanted to share with you how to draw bats, because yes, it is that time of year. It's Halloween. We're drawing spooky pictures, and you know, one of the details, we always like to add details into our drawing, and so one of the details that we like to add are some of our nocturnal friends. That means, you know, they sleep during the day and they're awake at night. There are bats, and I love the bats over the full moon. That adds a lot of character and a lot of feeling into your spooky scene. Even if you have a monster here, kind of a made up, he looks like a silly monster, not a really scary one. So we kind of have a silly bat going with him. So I'm going to show you how to do those two styles of bats so that you can add a little creativity and little details to your Halloween spooky drawing. So here we go. Get those papers ready. You know what we're doing. We draw on the little sheets of paper. So there's a little preview. You can see my bats that I have here. And I told you we're going to draw this one who kind of looks a little surprised. He has nice big eyes. He's kind of a silly looking little bat. And then we're going to do some that are just the silhouettes that you might see in a little bit spookier setting. So that's what we're going to be drawing. And again, I want to remind you, use just a little quarter sheet of paper. Take that big sheet of paper, fold it into fourths, because that way you can practice more than just trying to draw, you know, one right in the middle of a big sheet of paper. So here we go. Let's learn how to draw our bats. First ones we're going to start out with these. These are a little bit simpler. We're going to be starting with a couple circles for the eyes. I want you to notice, let's look up here at the top of this. We've got a letter M here. It looks like a capital M. It's up, down, up, down. All right, and then we've got these two on the sides, a little bit up further. We're curving in, and then we just have like a little in and out little zigzag line there. And we put a few they almost look like little hands, little screeches out. So we're going to do those. This is based on an Ed Emberley style of drawing. So let's start with these little guys here. So I'm going to show you two ways. The first way you can do is you can start out by drawing your eyes. Okay, so you're just going to put two simple little circles there. Then we're going to put two pupils inside. That's the inside part of your eyes. And then above them, we're going to make that capital letter M. So we're going to start here. We're not going to touch that circle, but you're going to go up and down and up and down. So there's that little M that goes there. But then remember over here on the sides, we're going to come up a little bit higher. So we always like to use our guide dots. And I'm going to start down here. I'm going to come up and down. And I'm going to go up and down. Up here, I'm going to put, 4 or 5 just a few little marks there for a little character. And then down here, I'm just going to go kind of an in and out. And that's all it is to it. Right now, it looks sort of like a little ghost to me. But what you're going to do is take your marker or your crayon, if your crayon has a nice point on it, or your matte pencil or your pencil, and once you fill it in, that's part of the Ed Emberley style. Once you get it filled in, and you're going to use these would not be the focal point of your illustration. These are just little tiny details in the background. It's going to work out very nicely. They don't have to be perfectly bat. They just need to be bat-ish. Love that ish. Thank you, Peter Reynolds. All right, so there we go. So that one, you drew the eyes first and put the M there. If you want to try with the M first, you can also try it this way to put it up, and maybe you're going to do little loops in. Put some of those on the top of it, maybe a couple little eyes here. Oops, my eyes aren't even the same size. My goodness, I have a silly bat. And then once again, notice the coloring it in. When we do color it in, that's going to be the key on the bats. They're very dark. And when you add the bats into your illustration, be sure to put more than one, because I'll have like a little bat colony. All right, and what you'll see is they don't look exactly alike. They almost look like a papa bat and maybe a mama bat, I don't know. But they're different sizes. Where you put their eyeballs, that can give them a little bit different personality as well. So that's our first one. Those are our Ed Emberley, just with nice big eyes. They kind of add a little character into your illustration. Now, the second ones we're going to be doing are going to be a little more in silhouette. So what we're doing here, I want you to look, see the bat head and the ears. I want you to just kind of imagine Batman's mask. You know how his ears kind of pop up there? So we're going to do that, and then we're just going to put a curve. It looks almost like a crescent moon, and then we're going to go curve up on that one. If you curve down like I did on this one, I don't like that one as much. So we're going to curve up on ours. So pretty much for the little silhouette bats, here's what I've figured out how to do. You're going to make a curve. See how that's the curve part of it. Right there at the top of it, we're going to kind of go up on both sides. And then you kind of come down. And then it has this tiny little hump over it. And then you kind of go up again. Remember how I told you think about Batman? And then down here, remember I said we're going to go up. So you're going to up and down like this. Right? See how that works? And right now, that just doesn't look like much of anything. But again, as I said, fill in. That's what you want to do. And when you get that nice, and it does take a nice, I like to say a juicy marker. So make sure you're recapping your markers when you're finished, because you like dry balance. That's pretty good. Pretty good. See, it looks like a little Batman head up there. You might make it a little bit thinner, not so thick there. So let's try again. Let's stretch him out a little bit, not quite so thick. We're going to come up, up, come down a little bit in, and slightly tuck him up. And then let's see if I make him like thinner looking like that. Let's see what that turns into. Again, we're going to fill in very quickly. That looks pretty good. Oh, kind of a different one. He looks a little sportier, a little faster there. So we have two different styles of bats. And yes, you will want to have your bats in your spooky scenes. As always, this is just a practice, and normally, you know, I don't sign my name on our practice sheets, but I want you to get in the habit so that when you create your art, you do sign it, because we want people to know that it is your art. All right, so I want you looking at those. And as I always say, you know, paintings or illustrations are kind of like when you write. When you write, you kind of have like a main idea for your writing. Same thing when you're drawing. So right here, let's say, you know, our monster's kind of our main idea. Well, the one thing you want to do is add a lot of details to it. And that's what the bats do there. They add a little bit of detail and interest into the picture. See, this one, I didn't add any bats. I think the bats add a little bit extra. So I want to make sure you have all the information you need. So remember, if you're making a spooky painting, go ahead, let's have a spooky tree. Let's add some spooky bats into it. And you know what? Remember, if you want to get good at drawing, if you want to be good at anything, it takes a lot of practice. So there you go. That's how you draw a bat. And I want to make sure you know, keep drawing. See if you can draw, I don't know, maybe 10 bats, 20 bats, 30 bats. You'll be an expert. Draw 30 bats really quickly and then add them to your pictures. Thank you so much. I'm Roxanne Glauser here at Whirly Derb. I hope you have enjoyed learning how to draw bats. Thank you. Bye-bye.